Hey there, I know it's been a minute since I've been on here. It's been a while since my last post. So first and foremost, I hope you are doing well. So yeah, I just wanted to use this video to give you a little bit of an update as to what I've been up to and most importantly, what I have planned moving forward. Because no, I have not quit YouTube. Now, I have put some timestamps for you down below so you can jump into the different sections that might interest you a little bit better, but let's start off with where I've been. Honestly, man, I've just been recharging. I've been doing YouTube for the past 7 years or so, and maybe you don't understand if you don't do this yourself, or at least know somebody who also does it, but YouTube can be incredibly taxing because it's a lot of freaking work, especially if you're just a one-person team like myself, doing everything from coming up with the ideas, recording, editing, my God, the editing, thumbnail creation, distribution, all of that can be a ton of different work, which is an added set of tasks for musicians. Now, I'm not minimizing, any other sort of craft, but I do believe that YouTube makes it a lot easier, or YouTube is kind of more tailored for videographers because you're already doing the thing. At that point, you just kind of have to upload it and do all the other things that come with it. But for musicians, it's an extra set of skills that we have to add because not only do you have to do the music thing, which is really where our heart is at, right? But you also, on top of that, have to remember to press record and edit and do all of those different things. Specifically now in this landscape where content creation is really kind of a requirement if you want to do this or pursue this in a more sort of full-time or serious kind of way. And so honestly, I've been really burnt out in these past couple of months. And really though, I think after some time of reflecting, I've been able to sort of pinpoint some of the things that have been the reason for this. And so I'll share those with you now in the case that maybe you are also trying to pursue content creation because it is a bit of a balance. So as I mentioned, I do truly believe that content creation is a wonderful thing that can open up many opportunities. I've seen it myself, but it has to be approached in a sort of very meticulous way. Specifically, what I mean by that is that throughout the years, I sort of became really consumed with the metrics of it all, right? The performance, the numbers, that kind of thing, which I feel like a lot of people experience if you're on this platform. But most importantly, and this is where I really went wrong, I began to tie a lot of those metrics, that performance, those numbers to my self-worth, which is not something that is foreign to if you're a creator. Like if you're a creative mind, I'm sure that happens. We tie a little bit of our value, of our person to the things that we create. And so if it doesn't perform well, we think that it's a reflection of our value, which is not true at all. And that took me a long time to really understand. And so that was, I think, my first mistake. These past couple of months, I've just been sort of reflecting, allowing myself to remember that not only with video, but with music, right? What's meant for you is meant for you. And if you believe in God, then you believe in his timing. You believe that things happen for a reason. And so I've been really trying to ground myself in the things that are real and present. And so that it's been a huge learning moment. The other thing too is that the fact that I was letting it affect me that way personally meant that I was making it about myself when it shouldn't have been that way. A big part of this channel when I started was I created it so that I could help people learn production because I remember being that person in the beginning, not understanding, like what an 808 was or like how to mix certain things or whatever. And so, yeah, in a small selfish way, it is me sharing my art, but doing so in a way, or at least I hope I was doing it this way, to where it would teach other people how to do it. And again, I think being consumed with the numbers was really just an ego thing. It was making it about myself when I should have been making it always about you. The other thing that I sort of kind of realized in these past couple of months is that it's a very weird thing. We are the most connected we've ever been. Like if you just pull out your phone, you could call anybody, you could hop on social media and DM anybody. We are the most connected, but it's this weird, almost like unreal, fake connection. I don't know what word to use here, but what I mean by that is that it's not a real human connection, right? Like for example, when I hop on here and specifically with YouTube, when I make a video and I upload it, I'm using some sort of inputs based, maybe like comments that you've left or whatever to guide my decision, but it's very much still me guessing. And then I upload the video and then, maybe it resonates with you and you leave a comment, or you watch it the next day, then you leave a comment and then I don't see that comment until 2 days afterwards. So it's this sort of like fragmented, delayed connection that just doesn't allow for a true deeper dive as you would if you had maybe a friend sitting with you. And I think there's pros and cons to both, But that was one of the things too, you know, you kind of live this life where you upload videos and you're just hoping that they're making a difference. You hope that they are helping people, but there's no true way to know that unless you talk to them. And so for a long time, I think I was kind of feeling the same way, you know, like I see the numbers, I see the subscribers, obviously the comments, but you do kind of get in your head sometimes and you're like, am I really making a difference? Am I really out here? Does this have a purpose, you know? And luckily, I've been able to ground myself and center myself in the things that really matter. And so yeah, honestly, these past couple of months, I've been recharging. I've been getting back to the basics, making music, the thing that like fuels me and makes me feel alive. And then on top of that, and this is not a pitch for this, by the way, I'm just expressing some of the things that have helped me sort of come back up to where I need to be. On the whole like fragmented connection thing, I've been wanting to do a mentorship program of some sorts for a long time. And as a matter of fact, there have been people who've requested it over the years, but I think through my own sort of like insecurity, I was like, I don't know, like, am I good enough to do this? Yeah, like I've been producing for over a decade, but like, can I actually teach people in this sort of way? And so this past July, I was just like, screw it, let's do it. I sent out an email. I was like, I'm looking to mentor some people. And to my surprise, there was a lot of interest. And so what I did is I took a small group of people that I currently have now, and we started a mentorship program. And it has been the most life-giving thing that I've felt in a really long time, because don't get me wrong, I really enjoy helping, you know, you guys through these YouTube videos. But as I mentioned before, there is no way for me to truly dive deep into your issues, to learn about who you are, unless I'm doing something like this, where, you know, I'm able to hop on calls with you and have a conversation. Maybe you're not in the room, but like we got the next best thing. We're on Zoom. We're talking about your struggles, on your goals, your aspirations. We even have a community where, you know, we interact with each other. We hop on weekly calls to teach each other production. It has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And like I said, it's just been so life-giving. So I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to sort of start that process and that endeavor. But no, I'm back. I'm good. I think I'm refreshed. I think I'm re-energized, and especially because there's a lot of interesting things happening moving forward, specifically with the launch of Studio One 7 Pro. So let's talk about that. Okay, so I think it was sometime like last week or something like that PreSonus announced the launch of Studio One 7 Pro. And so I actually did get invited into their launch event in Brooklyn. We'll dive into that in a second, but I first want to talk about some of these changes that they are making as a company, because they are pretty substantial. So to kind of give you a bit of a backstory beforehand, for a long time, PreSonus, like many other companies, have been selling their software as a one-off purchase, right? You pay X amount, and maybe you have different tiers, which PreSonus did. You had the Pro, you had the Artist, and I don't even know if they have it, or, well, they definitely don't anymore, but at one point they had a Prime, which I believe was either free or super stripped down. And so you pay one price for that, and that was it. Every couple of years we get a new update, and depending on the company, maybe it was free, or maybe it was like a small fee that you would pay to upgrade, and that's how it was for a really long time. However, with the release of, I think it was 6 or 6.6, PreSonus started to adopt a little bit more of a subscription model, so to speak, which I know caused a bit of a stir, but with the release of 7 now, they have fully adopted this new way, but they've made some significant changes, which I think are important to understand. So first and foremost, change number 1 is that they are no longer offering multiple tiers. They're only offering one tier, and that is going to be Studio One Pro. That's it. Now, this program is going to be available for $200 if you are brand new, or $150 if you're coming from 6, 5, or whatever. Additionally, and I called this from a few months back, they're sort of now taking on this whole SaaS model, right? Software as a service, because whenever you do purchase or upgrade to 7, you're going to get 12 months of updates. And whenever those 12 months run out, then you're going to have to make a choice. Either you keep what you have, because you do get to keep Studio One as a perpetual license. That's yours forever. You just won't get any more updates. Or you pay another $150 for another 12 months of continuous updates. I think I said this in my 6.6 video, but I'm actually not mad at this. Hear me out. As a business owner, I understand that it takes money to be able to develop amazing things. And so I'm not necessarily opposed to paying $150 every year so that this company can make awesome features that make my job and my passion, my love for this music thing better and more efficient. I'm cool with that, so long as the features are good. And so the way that they kind of set this up, I think it's honestly a win-win for everybody, because if by the end of those 12 months, you don't want to pay, or you want to just wait until something new and worthwhile comes along, then you don't have to pay them. You can stop your payments and keep the software, which I think is super awesome. I know a lot of people, specifically talking to you guys, some of you are still like on 5 or 6.2 or whatever. If it's not for you, then just keep your money. Now, on their end, I think this is almost like one of those like direct feedback things, because you are incentivized to keep providing awesome features, because if not, you don't get paid, right? So it's kind of like a win-win. If it's not for you, don't give them your money. And as PreSonus as a company, if you want to keep money, you got to keep providing value. So to me personally, I'll have to obviously see how this pans out in the future, but I'm not mad at it. There's a lot of things that I pay for on a yearly basis, and as long as it's good, I'm not upset about paying the $150. But again, we'll just have to see how this pans out. Now, I've gotten some questions over Instagram too about like the whole hybrid thing. From what I understand, that is still there. Like they're calling it Studio One Pro Plus now, their subscription thing. And that is a big difference to understand. That the whole 12 months of updates is not the same thing as their subscription. Their subscription is separate. And so if you choose to do that, I think every year, instead of it being $150, it's $180, right? And so let's say, for example, if you were to sign up today for their subscription, the Studio One Pro Plus, you would get Studio One, but you also get 12 months of updates, but you also get all of their like extra things like their sample packs and tutorials and whatever else is included in Pro Plus. And so when those 12 months end, you have the option. Do you want to continue? You could pay another $180 to redo the whole Pro Plus package, or I believe you could just do the $150 to only continue without the subscription, or you could just not pay. Like I said, it's just really up to you. So they are giving us options, and I will repeat once again, I'm not mad. I just kind of have to see first to see how this pans out. The other thing they announced, which I thought was also quite interesting, is that 7 is going to be the last big number update. I don't know how they're going to approach this, but they did mention that moving forward, all the names are going to be time-based. So I don't know if they're going to do it based on like year and quarter, like maybe next year, first quarter, they release one and they call it 25.1 or 25. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to happen, but that's another big thing that they're sort of implementing as well. So here's the thing. I think a lot of times, specifically over the internet, we can rush to conclusions, rush to the rumor mill, get angry, get upset. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Feelings are valid, right? But I will say this. My experience with PreSonus over the years, which has been, by the way, purely online, through email, through messages, through whatever, Zoom calls, it has been a good one. I've gotten good vibes from them every time that we sort of, that I've had some sort of issue, or that you guys present some sort of issue to me. I send it over. Some of the things get covered and included in future updates, and so they're very responsive. I'm not gonna say they're not, but I will say this: when I got invited to this Brooklyn launch event, I was there. I finally got to meet some of these people in person, including the general manager for PreSonus software. I mean, this is a guy that makes all the calls, right? Like if he doesn't okay it, it doesn't go through to the final launch. And so the one thing that I was able to sort of get from him is, number one, they really care. And you could tell. I know a lot of times the whole story recently has been like, oh, they're just money grabbing or whatever. I don't know, man. I can't tell you all that, but the vibe that I got from him in person, not through email, not through message or whatever, is that they genuinely, not only from him, from all the staff there, they genuinely care not only about this software, but about the people, the users, me and you. And, I asked him a couple of different questions. First and foremost was, the producer community has felt really underserved for a long, long time. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And the one thing he told me was like, listen, it takes time. It takes time. I think we all just want our things now, but it takes time, and they have not forgotten. Studio 17, as a matter of fact, is what he called a producer update. And I have the beta. I'm playing with it now, and it is freaking awesome. It doesn't have everything, but it has a lot of really great things that are going to improve how we as producers work. And so that was number one. The second thing I asked him, which I have been really concerned about, I'm sure you have as well, is, a lot of us have been worried about the future of this company, this software, with the whole Fender acquisition. So the one thing I asked him was like, are we okay? Should we be worried about the future of PreSonus and Studio One? And the thing that he told me is that of all the companies that were interested in buying PreSonus, Fender was the most fit because it aligned with their ideals and sort of like, their morals and that kind of thing. And having my experience with PreSonus staff over the years, meeting them in person, if that's what PreSonus aligns with, then I don't know. I guess obviously time will tell, but it sort of eased my worries because they seem to really be focused on serving the user. As a matter of fact, the other thing that he told me is that with the addition of these more frequent 12-month cycle updates, I don't know if it's done or if they're working on it still, but they want to have a more public interface of all the updates that are either coming, in the works, or whatever, right? So again, I don't know how this is going to work per se, but I'm assuming that if you are a user, you can submit your idea, and then you can see if it's been picked up, if it's in development, or if it's been rejected. And so specifically with this new model of like continuous 12-month updates, you're able to see maybe what's coming, and if you want to reinvest your money. I think that's really awesome. And to have that transparency again just reiterates and sort of verifies their intention to serve the users. So again, time will tell, but after speaking to actual human beings, specifically the guy on top of all of this, I feel good. I feel good about where this is going, and we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, I've rambled long enough, but I do have some really awesome videos for you guys coming up. Not only on the Studio One front, because listen, there's a lot of things in Studio 17 that I'm hyped about that I can't wait to dive in and start making videos about. So there's that, but also I've been working on some music, and so to be able to showcase that music in the scope of Studio 17 is going to be so awesome. Be pumped because I'm definitely excited. But anyway, I hope you are doing fine. I'm back. I'm here. Let's get to it. Let's make some music, and I will see you guys very, very soon.